All right, well, we're in our third week of our series with you, but without y'all moving from your seats and just raising your hand, I want someone to tell me what we talked about on week one. Week one. Nope. No, week one of the series, sorry. Okay, how to respond to people when they're grieving. All right, I'll take it. All right. Colt, what do you got for week two? What did we talk about last week? Okay, that was not the right one. All right, tell me, Benjamin. We talked about Ruth and Naomi, and we talked about what it's like to be with friends who are feeling lonely. So this week, we're going to continue talking about what it looks like to be with friends when they're hurting, when they're grieving, and when they're feeling alone. And so today we're going to talk more about some physical needs that some of us have, like needing food and stuff. Like, y'all got to eat, right? Or some of y'all are like, yeah, candy's a need. I need candy, Emma. Please throw me some M&Ms. Yeah, that's not really a need. But we're going to talk about, so first off, we are going to talk about some needs. What are some needs that people need? Okay, we have candy. We'll put candy here on this one. Oh, someone said water? Okay, water. Oh, you need Jesus? Okay, I'll take Jesus. Okay, I heard food. Okay, what else do we need? Okay, someone said Wi-Fi. We'll put it in this column. Wi-Fi. I can't hear. Okay, hold on. Y'all are like screaming and I can't hear. Okay. What do we need? Okay, coffee can go over here. Some of y'all need caffeine. Some of y'all don't need any more caffeine. Okay, Emmeline, what do we need? Okay, Chick-fil-A app. Chick-fil-A. Okay, yes. We need clothes. Okay, yeah. Clothes. Okay, in the back. What do we need? Oh, I can't hear you. Shelter, yes. Okay. We need shelter. We need a roof over our heads. Okay, now this side of the room. Yes, Jason, what do we need? O2? Oh, yeah, we need oxygen. O2. Yes, Joy, what do we need? Dutch Bros? Okay, I'll put that under coffee. All right, Gunnar, what do we need? Huh? Mutiny? Community. I heard mutiny, and I was like, I don't know if we need that. Yeah, well, community. Community is important. So community, so we need friends. Okay, what else? I'll take one more. Catherine, what do we need? Okay, say it louder. What? Airbrush? Hairbrush. Okay, we'll put a hairbrush over here. All right, so I heard police. We need church. Yeah, we'll put church over here. Yeah, we need church. We'll put that. Okay, all right. No, okay, that's it. Those are all I'm going to take. All right, so we need, so these are not really essential. I'll say it. They're not essential. These are things we want. These things are what we want. These things we need. Okay, here's one that y'all didn't mention. Safety. Safety is something we need. Safety. Wait, did I spell that right? I think I spelled safety wrong. Oh, I left out an E. Sorry. Safety. Okay, here's another one. Education. Y'all are like, no, we don't need school. Education. Yeah, okay, I get it. Y'all don't like school. Okay, and then we need medical care. Some of us don't have insurance, a.k.a. me. That's a need I don't have. Oh, and then, okay, this one's a doozy. You may not agree, But caring adults. Oh, let's see if I can. I'll put it over here. Caring adults. Caring adults. AKA Chris and Emma. Chris and Emma are essential. And Emma. Okay. I'm essential. Okay, it is, but like Chick-fil-A itself. Okay, all right, y'all, back in. Okay, you can put your hands down. I'm not taking any more. Oh, yeah, God, Jesus, Trinity here, guys. Okay. So there are people everywhere, all around the world, that may not have any of these. Well, they probably have oxygen. We'll take oxygen off. Sorry, Jason. I know that's a need, but we'll take that one off. But hey, y'all right here. Hey, y'all right here, guys. So there are people all around the world that don't have these things. Or they might only have like a few. They might have water. They might have food. But they may not have community. They may not have a church. They may not be safe. Yeah, or they may not have caring adults or a good education. And so all around the world, maybe even in our community, people here in the Belton Temple area may not have these things. And so today, we're going to look at a story, a message in the Bible that kind of talks about what needs we need and how we can help others who have needs that need to be met. And so in the Bible, there are some people called the prophets. Have you all heard of the prophets before? Can anyone tell me what a prophet is? Yeah, that's a good one. Okay, what else? Can anyone else give me a definition of a prophet? Yes, Duncan? It's Drew, I'm sorry. My bad. Hey, look, your mom named you guys with 2 D names, and it throws me off every time. I'm sorry, Drew. Okay, what else? How else can you define a prophet? Yes, that's a good one. Okay, Colt, what is your definition of a prophet? Okay, no. I'm not taking that one. All right, a prophet is a teacher of God's word or a messenger from God. So we're going to talk about a man named Elijah. Can everyone say that with me? Elijah. Yeah, some of you are like, oh, I know Elijah. Yeah, so this man's name is Elijah. He was a prophet. Hey, all right here. He was a prophet. And in Elijah's day, he lived in the nation called Israel, which were God's chosen people, his chosen nation. And they were being led by kings. So we're not led by kings, we're led by a president, but like England has a king and queen, you know, kind of like that monarchy system. So they had some good kings, and then they had some really, 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 really bad kings. And during the time of Elijah and his time of being a prophet, he was under the rule of a not-so-good king, okay? And so during the reign of the king, his name was King Ahab, he was a very wicked man. He didn't like Elijah, and neither did his wife Jezebel. Have y'all heard of their names, King Ahab and Queen Jezebel? Yeah, y'all might have heard them before. Well, they weren't very good leaders of the nation, and they were also wicked. And so there was a famine that came across the land. We've talked about famines before. What are famines? Shortage of food. Hey, what do we need? We need food. We need Chick-fil-A. Okay, we'll take it. We need Chick-fil-A. All right, y'all, right here. So in the midst of this drought and in this famine, Elijah was struggling to find food. And so God sent him to a creek to get water, and then it started to rain down food. And so he had food, it didn't rain down. Some birds bought him some food, yeah. Some of y'all have DoorDash, which is similar to the birds bringing you food, yeah. Very similar. And so then the creek dried up and the ravens left. And so we're going to see what happens next to Elijah. So we're going to look at 1 Kings chapter 17, starting in verse 8. And this is what happens next to Elijah. Then the Lord said to Elijah, "Go and live in the village of Zarephath, near the city of Sidon. I have instructed a widow there to feed you." So he went to Zarephath. As he arrived at the gates of the village, he saw a widow gathering sticks, and he asked her, "Would you please bring me a little cup of water?" As she was going to get it, he called to her, "Bring me a bite of bread too." So she's going to get him water, and he says, "Also, bring me some crackers or some food, whatever." But she said, "I swear by the Lord your God that I don't have a single piece of bread in the house." Ooh, not good, guys. Sometimes you guys look in the pantry, and you're like, "There's nothing in here." And your mom's like, "No, there's a lot of food in there." And you're like, "No, there's nothing in there." There was literally no food in her pantry. Then it magically shows up, yeah. Okay, so she says, "But I swear to the Lord God, there is not a single piece of bread in the house, and I have only a handful of flour left in the jar and a little cooking oil in the bottom of the jug. I was just gathering a few sticks to cook this last meal for me and my son, and then we will die." But Elijah said to her, "Don't be afraid. Go ahead and do just what you've said, but make a little bread for me first. Then use what's left to prepare a meal for yourself and your son. For this is what the Lord, the God of Israel, says. There will always be flour and olive oil left in your containers until the time when the Lord sends rain and the crops grow again." So she did as Elijah said, and she and Elijah and her family continued to eat for many days. There was always enough flour and olive oil left in the containers, just as the Lord had promised through Elijah. So this story is kind of weird, right? Like Elijah goes into the town, and he sees a widow just like God told him he would, and he's like, "Hey, lady, go get me a cup of water. While you're at it, make me a sandwich." And she's like, "Look, I don't have food to make you a sandwich. I only have enough for me and my son." And then Elijah just goes ahead and tells her, he's like, "No, that's okay. Just go ahead and make the sandwich, but feed me first. Don't worry about you and your son. Feed me first," which is kind of rude, yeah, right? Like that's really rude. Or like, do you ever go into the kitchen? And you're like, "Mom or Dad, make me a sandwich," and they're like, "Okay, well, first off, go do your chores." But they'll make you food first, really, because they're really sweet, because your parents are really nice. But, like, honestly, if you guys came over to my house and you're like, "Emma, make me a sandwich," and I was like, "No, I'm going to make myself a sandwich first and then feed my cat. I don't care about you." I'm kidding. I care about y'all. But Elijah said this because he knew that God's promises were true. And he knew that if he told the woman to bring him food first, that the Lord would then provide for him. And so then this awesome miracle happens where she does feed Elijah first, and then they never run out of food again, which is insane. Wouldn't that be nice? Like you have a never-ending pantry of like Cheetos and Gushers and like fruit roll-ups and like the endless supply of candy. Like I'm just throwing candy every Sunday. Yeah, it would be great. And so this story just communicates to us how important it is for us to care for people in need, just like Elijah cared for the widow and her son. And so how do we ourselves learn from Elijah and the widow and her son about caring for those in need? And so first off, it teaches us that we need to help one another, okay? We have to work together. Maybe you guys have worked together with your siblings in conquering your chores, or you've done a group project before where you have to work together to get the project done. And so we need each other to work together to provide food or needs for others. And then next, God works through us, okay? And so God can use us just like he used Elijah to help the widow and her son to get food and whatnot. So God works through us. And then there's enough for everyone, okay? Some of y'all don't like to share, right? Like you go to lunch or cafeteria and your friends are like, "Hey, can I have an apple slice?" And you're like, No. My mom packed me 6 apple slices. There's not enough for you, even though there's only like 6 apple slices. So sometimes we feel like there's not enough, but there is enough. And then also relationships matter. So Elijah didn't just go and drop off food. Hey, y'all, right here. He didn't just go and drop off food to the widow and the son. Like, he also built a relationship with them. He ended up staying with them and built that relationship with them. So in Elijah's time, it was clear that God cared about his people and was using his prophets to also care for other people. And so it's also clear that God's heart is for us and caring for people in need, because we also see that happen with Jesus. Yeah, so Jesus cared for us, and he used a lot of his ministry to care for others. So we're going to turn to Matthew. Hey, y'all, right here. We're going to turn to Matthew and see what it says that Jesus does about caring for others. So Matthew 25, verse 40 says this: "And the king will say, I tell you the truth, when you did it to one of the least of these, my brothers and sisters, you were doing it to me. And so what Jesus is saying here is when you help others, you are also helping me. When you help the least of these, you are also helping me. You are building my kingdom. You are helping those people. And so it's important for us to know when people are in need, we need to help them, that we need to help guide them, help find them, meet those needs. It's very important. So when people are in need, we should be there for them. We should be with them. So you might have friends that also are in need. So you might be thinking, like, how do I do this? How do I help my friends that are in need? How do I identify who these people are, or what do I do about this? Well, first off, I'm going to ask you a few questions, okay? So everyone, like, close your eyes and just think about these questions. I'm going to ask you a few questions. So you can close your eyes. I promise no one's going to come up and cut your hair or anything. We don't do that here. So just close your eyes and listen to these questions. So when's the last time you noticed someone else's needs besides your own? Hey, y'all. Hey, guys, right here. When was the last time you noticed someone else's needs? And then when you see someone in need, what's your usual reaction? Do you think about helping them? Do you just think about turning the other way or walking away? Okay, is your reaction different depending on the person's needs? Have you ever been judgmental when you've seen someone in need? Have you ever felt powerless or overwhelmed when you've seen someone in need? What is preventing you from helping meet people's needs? So, resources. So, the Old Testament was not written in English. I know some of y'all might be shocked by that. It was not written in English because English wasn't around during the time it was written. It was written in a language called Hebrew. And so there is a word in Hebrew called shalom. And it means peace. And so some of y'all might think about peace and like it is the absence of war, the absence of chaos. Peace is like when the storm passes and the sun starts coming up and the flowers start blooming. Like that's what you think about peace. And so this word was used a lot about using peace and shalom, and it was the absence of peace. But what if it's also the absence of us needing things, that our needs are also met? And so there might be people in your life that may not have shalom. They may not have these certain things. Hey, y'all, right here. They may not have clean water. There are people around the world who don't have clean water, or there are people who don't have access to Jesus, or there are people who don't have food. There are people in this community that have something called food insecurity, which means that they don't have enough food every week to cook a meal, or they have to buy food every day because they have to go from paycheck to paycheck. Or there might be people in your community or in this world that don't have enough clothes, or they're wearing the same clothes over and over a week because that's the only clothes they have. Or they may not have a jacket. It's starting to get cold outside. They may not have a jacket for this winter season. And the next is there are people in our community who don't have shelter. They don't have a roof over their head. It's been raining a lot this season, so they might be cold in the rain, or they just don't have shelter. And then next, there might be people in this room that feel like they don't have community, which community we said is a need, being a part of a small group, having friends. Some of y'all will be like, yeah, my friends are a need and essential in my life. And then there's some people who don't have a church or access to church, which also can tie into community and Jesus. And then there's some people who don't feel safe, that they don't have maybe they don't have caring adults in their lives to take care of them, or they're just not in a good place in the world where they're safe, or there's just like vicious, I just think of like living in a jungle and there's like vicious snakes and spiders everywhere, so they don't feel safe. Or there are people who don't get a good education, or they don't have access to books, or they don't know how to read, which education is very important. And then lastly, there are some people who may not have access to medical care. And so when they get sick, that might be the last thing they get sick of. They might die from because they don't have medical care. And so we can be thankful that we have this. And so some ways that we can help with these needs and help our friends who are in need is figuring out how we can provide those needs. So first off, we want to identify who needs things in our lives. So who are those people in your lives that need help? It could be a friend. It could simply be like you have a friend who needs community and you invite them to small group. Or it could be that this Thanksgiving, you and your family goes and volunteers at a a food shelter, or not food shelter, a food pantry here in our community where people can get food because they don't have money that week to buy food. Or maybe it's you partnering with a program that helps get clean water to people in countries across the world that are needing those things. And so there are many ways. Maybe you need to go through your closet this week because honestly, how many of you look in your closet and you're like, man, I have way too many clothes? Way too many. Some of you are like, no, I don't. I mean, enough is never enough, which I feel that. I really like shoes right now. I've bought a lot of shoes. Well, maybe you just need to go through your closet and get rid of some clothes and donate them to a clothes closet for those who need clothes. So we're going to talk this week, hey y'all, we're going to talk this week in small groups about some ways that you can help meet needs for people who are in need around in our community, around the world, and other ways that you can do that. Okay, so let's pray real quick. Dear Father, Lord, thank you for today. Thank you for each and every one of these students, Lord. Lord, I ask that you provide their needs, whether it's Chick-fil-A or it's water, whatever they need, Lord. I hope that that is provided in their life. Lord, I ask that you help them look in their community and look around in their schools and identify the people that are in need and just lend a smile or a helping hand to them through that. Lord, you are awesome and amazing, and we praise you for that. In your holy, precious name, amen.